Good morning, everyone. I am Jonathan Little. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. As you can see, my note card's almost empty today, which means I did not have time to take notes on a topic, but that's okay because this is an easy one for me. We can wing it. Today we're talking about the life of a poker pro. Don't really need notes for this. All I need to know is we're going to talk about cash game players, tournament players, and Jonathan Little in particular. So it's nice and easy. Sometimes it just falls in your lap, you know? Speaking of things falling in your lap, today at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 hours from now, so I have to stay for at least 12 hours, I'm going to be presenting a webinar on 5 tips to help you do significantly better at the World Series of Poker or any tournament series in general. So you can go sign up. It's completely for free. You can get signed up for that at pokercoaching.com/5tips. Here, I'll type it in the chat. pokercoaching.com/5 and then tips. So go check that out. I hope you enjoy it. That'll be tonight at 9 p.m. Also, we're giving away 3 seats to the big 50, the $500 buy-in tournament. You can sign up for that at pokercoaching.com/WSOP. So we have a free giveaway for you and free $1,500 essentially cash plus a year to poker coaching, 6 D&B books, etc., etc. I try to give stuff away to all of you. I hope you appreciate it. If you don't, well, don't participate. So, today we're going to talk about the life of a poker pro. Okay? So, what is a poker pro? First things first, some people treat poker maniacally, kind of like myself, and then some people treat it very casually. I would venture to say, actually, the vast majority of poker quote-unquote pros treat it incredibly casually. They became a poker pro because they wanted to be able to chill and relax and go play poker when they wanted to and relax when they wanted to and do whatever they wanted. And the problem with that mindset is that in order to make it to the top, well, there's going to be a lot of long days of studying, a lot of long days of grinding, and that's not what all people want. So if your goal is to just be a mediocre pro, make 20, 30, 50 bucks an hour playing small and medium stakes games, then you don't need to do much. Show up whenever you want, play whatever you want, do whatever you want, and you'll make a little bit of money. Assuming you're also very good at poker, which kind of presumes you did some studying in the past. I'm going to talk today mostly about very serious pros, though. And to be fair, I have been a cash game pro at points in my career, and I have been a tournament pro at points in my career, like very clearly defined cash game pros or tournament pros. Lots of regulars here. We have Jason Bush, Louis Philippe, Nat Dunn, first time ever here. Good. Welcome. Kevin Smith, Julie Bush, all the regulars. Hope you're all having a great day. So, cash game pros. I played 510, 1020, and higher at Bellagio every day when I was not traveling to play tournaments. And back then I traveled like once every week to go play. And also a lot of tournaments were in Vegas, so I did not travel to play those, obviously. I would go to Bellagio literally every single day from noon until midnight. I wanted to make sure I was on the quote-unquote tournament schedule because I did not want to get too far off of it because imagine I started playing the probably optimal hours of a cash game pro of 6 p.m. till 4 a.m. or something like that. If I played those hours, I would be way off schedule for the tournaments that usually run from noon until midnight. So I purposely stayed on a noon till midnight schedule. I'd go to Bellagio every day. And that's what I would do. I would make roughly 10 big blinds per hour at 510. Actually, more like 12 big blinds per hour at 510 and something like 6 big blinds per hour or 8 big blinds per hour at 1020. And then when the bigger games ran, those would usually they'd yield very high win rates because the games were soft if they were running and they were big. So essentially, I'd make, call it 120 bucks an hour across the board, which means don't play 1020, right? The goal then was to sit there and grind out some money, make my $1,000 a day, make my $1,200 a day, whatever it is, and then go home. And that's what I did every single day for about 2 years. And it was nice. You can do the math. Say you're making $1,000 a day and you play 20 days a week, because remember the other 6 or 8 or 10 I was playing tournaments. That's $20,000 a month. It's not bad, right? Not bad at all, especially given I was playing 510 mostly. And you need, 30K bankroll, 50K bankroll to play these games? I mean, I had already done well in poker, so I had a very large bankroll, but My biggest downswing ever was 30K. That was my biggest downswing. And I was one of the more loose, aggressive players in the game, and if I was playing against Maniacs, I'd be more than happy to call them down. So either way, it led to big swings, right? Well, I say big swings. 30 buy-ins. To be fair, a buy-in was actually 1,500. So 20 buy-ins was essentially nothing. Especially compared to online. I mean, online, pretty much everyone who plays online has had 100 buy-in downswing. That's just normal. Because you're playing many more hands, so you're going to see the big upswings and big downswings more often. And edges are lower, so you're going to have a lower win rate. So, life of a cash game pro, what would I do? I would wake up at about 9 a.m., go to the gym, take care of business, whatever I needed to do. This is before I had a poker training site and all these books and whatnot. And all of you. I was just a random person out there playing poker, right? And I would go and I would wake up at 9, have breakfast, go to the gym, read a book, do whatever I wanted to, go to the casino. The game usually started, the 5-10 game would usually start up at about, actually, sorry, the 10-20 game would usually start up at about noon. So I always made a point to get there like 11:45 to make sure I had a seat in the 10-20 game if I wanted it. And I could tell if I wanted it by knowing the players, right? Whenever you go to play cash games all day, every day, you learn the players, you learn who you're against, and inevitably you see, okay, this is not a good starting table, so go play 5-10. 5-10 was running around the clock at Bellagio at this point. Aria did not exist yet, to date myself. And so that's what I would do. I would go there, I would be ready to play 10-20, I would play 5-10, and that's that. And then I would play until midnight, or until I lost 3 buy-ins of $1,500 each, which would be $4,500 at 5-10. I don't know if that necessarily helped or hurt, because in general, whenever you're losing, it implies the game is tough. And whenever you're winning, it implies the game is soft, right? Because you win in soft games, you lose in tough games. Or break even, or whatever. Maybe you're just running bad. You're certainly going to have 450 big blind downswings in any individual day. That's just normal. But I think having a relatively high-ish stop loss is somewhat valuable. Because, look, if you're just getting crushed in a day, even if you think you do have a good mindset, you may not. And I'm certainly not happy when I'm sitting there losing $4,500, right? Playing 5-10 against presumably weaker players. And you have to ask yourself, would I be happy sitting here for another hour to make $100? And the answer is obviously no, whenever you are generally very unhappy. So John, was your goal not to move up to the high stakes games and test your abilities? No, we're not here to test ourselves, we're here to make money. That said, there certainly is merit in testing yourselves. Is a 12 big blind hourly rate still doable at 5-10, or are players better now? Matthew, it depends on the players, right? I have played in incredibly soft 50-100 games. I've also played in incredibly tough 2-5 games. So it depends on who you're against. Do you add on to your stack if you lose a few pots? Yes. So I would always buy in for 1,500. Then I would have about 3,000 in $1,000 chips in my pocket and about $1,000 chips in my pocket. And I would add on to keep the maximum as necessary. You say money is the motivation. No, money is not the motivation. The motivation is I enjoy playing games and grinding them out and seeing my bankroll increase. I'm not trying to win money. I'm trying to increase my bankroll and increase equity. No, they sound similar, but they're very different in my opinion. Like, I just enjoy progressing, right? And you can progress in many ways. You can progress your skills by, trying to move up and play as high as you can and, bankroll be damned. Or you can sit there, play in reasonably tough games. I mean, look, 5-10 and 10-20 were the biggest games in the room for the most part, so it's not like these were the 1-2 games, right? And I would be happier having no variance as opposed to lots of variance. To be fair, whenever I've played 10-20, I've had 100K swings. So would you rather have 100K swings down and up, or would you rather have 30K swings down and 100K swings up? Just drastically minimizes variance, and especially if you're just there grinding it out, kind of taking it easy because the game wasn't so tough. I didn't really want variance. I did not see the purpose in that. What about a strategy of buying in for the minimum? I'm generally not a fan of that. I think there's definitely a higher amount to be won by playing deep stacked. Buying in for the minimum is great if you have a small bankroll, if you don't have good post-flop skills, if your opponents don't understand how to play against short stacks, etc., etc. How often did I take vacation? None. I took no vacations. And today I take no vacations. Now my vacations are going to play a big tournament series. I was never a fan of taking vacations. I mean, the first 3 years I played, from 18 till 21, I played literally every day, no breaks. I did take 1/2 day off each year for Christmas time with my family. All the rest of the time was spent playing, studying, and working hard. And that was, 14-hour days every day, but I didn't mind. I liked it, right? It was part of the fun. And when I played cash games, like I said, 12 hours a day, every day, I would usually take the day before I traveled to a big tournament series off, and I would usually take the day after I got home from a big tournament series off. So if I landed back home at 3 p.m., I'm not going to get up and go to Bellagio till midnight. I would take that day off. So those are my off days in theory. Can you ask a tournament question? You can. I may or may not answer. Let's see. You're a new fan. Welcome. Among other things... Oh, okay. Anyway, you're being much more calm. Good. I'm glad to hear that is going great. All right. Let's see. So that's what a cash game pro does. Every once in a while, when I was playing 5, 10, or 10, 20, there would be a bigger game. I think this is where a lot of value comes from, just being at the casino. And very often, some random people who I do not know, who clearly do not look like professionals, they would come in and they just want to play big. Because, $2,000 or $10,000 buy-ins isn't enough for them. They want to play 40K or 100K buy-ins. And so, very often, I say very often, maybe once every 2 weeks, there'd be a 25-50 game or sometimes a 200-400 game pop up. And I've had almost no losses in these games, and that's because the games are very, very soft. Usually it'd be me, another pro or two. I remember Andrew Roble would always be happy to play as well. And then we play 4 or 5 handed in a very soft 50, 100, 20, 200, 100, 200, 200, 400 game. And that is where you just randomly get dumped 20K or 50K or 100K. And that's not counting just the regular grinding it out money, right? And like I mentioned, whenever you're playing bigger, when your bankroll starts to actually become at risk, because I don't want to lose 100K, you need to make sure you have a big edge. And if you understand your opponents, understand the player pool, if it's me, 2 other good pros, and 2 players who very clearly just played big private cash games and came to Vegas to gamble, and they were disappointed at the only small 10, 20 games, right? You should be happy to give them action, get in there, splash around, make it fun for them, and you'll scoop up a lot. How many total hours in a 1-3 game before you can trust your win rate? I don't know. You can never really trust your win rate because games get tougher over time. What sort of study material did I use back then? I mainly talked to my other good friends. Back then there were not good poker programs to study poker or anything like that. I always watched all the training videos I could. I always read all the books that I could. But talking with good players is what I did to get good, especially in cash games, because even today there's not a ton of great material on live cash games besides Crush Live Poker. They have a lot of good stuff there. Jack 6 and King 4 suited is a call or a raise when on the button. Just fold the offsuit ones. Fold Jack 6 suited pretty much all the time. King 4 suited you can play on the button though. Why would you even consider going pro? I'm not sure what you're saying. Why am I not playing poker all the time now? Because I started a family. Everyone doesn't quite understand that people have incentives in life and their incentives change. I already did quite well from poker. We have a nice apartment in Manhattan. We have plenty of money in the retirement fund. We're good to go. But also, I want to start a family. And I knew that I did not want to be at the casino 12 hours a day, all day, every day. Because I wanted to be home with my family. So now what do? I teach all of you. Believe it or not, we make more money from this than I did from playing poker. Because like I said, we're making about 120 from poker. We're doing much better by just sitting here teaching all of you. You all may not believe this, but whenever I sit here and do this, thousands of people are going to watch this. And some of you are going to go buy a poker book. Some of you are going to go sign up for pokercoaching.com. Some of you are going to go to my webinar tonight and learn something and want to learn more from me, right? And that makes it worth my time, right? So you always have to ask, what is the purpose? Can I make $500 an hour from sitting in playing poker right now at, what time is it, 9:16 a.m.? Obviously not, but we can probably do somewhat close sitting here, having a good time, enjoying ourselves, having some coffee. You have to make use of the time that you have. And now, like I was kind of mentioned earlier, the most profitable times to play poker are 6 p.m. till 4 a.m. I definitely don't want to be out playing poker from 6 a.m. till 4 a.m. That just seems ridiculous. How do you keep track of the things going on at the table? Just pay attention, take notes, etc., etc. How important is it to have backers? You do not need to have backers. I definitely suggest you do not have backers. What years did I play 10, 20, etc. every day? This was 8 or 9 years ago at this point. You think PLO is generally softer? It is softer, but the swings are way bigger and edges are way smaller. PLO is great if you can put in a lot of volume, but it's hard to put in a lot of volume. Just because in live poker you play like 20 hands an hour. Let's see. If your life is purely poker, you're a loser. I generally agree with this. I definitely think that if you do sit there and you play poker all day, every day, you're probably not quite doing it right. If you don't enjoy life, you're missing out on a lot. I mean, I know I missed out on a lot the first 6 or 7 years of my poker career. I would travel to a fun place, and I would literally not leave the casino. And then I would pack it up, and I would go home. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Let's see. Do you ever go on hand histories? Go over hand histories? Yes, we do that all the time at pokercoaching.com. Go sign up. It's completely free to sign up for a trial. You need a breakdown of your play. Feel free to type it in, and maybe I'll reply if I feel like it. When I was starting out, who did I talk to? Oh man, I talked to so many people. My first poker coach was a guy named Bill Seymour. He owned a site called pokercoaching.com. Sound familiar? He was a live pro from the 90s, and he had tons and tons of experience. And I learned a lot about mindset, about bankroll management, about just not opening myself up to going broke, about longevity, and that's very, very valuable. So he was my first coach. I paid him $100 an hour, which was like a lot of money back then to me. I had, 20K to my name, 10K to my name, something like that. And it was well worth it. A while later, I was talking on a poker forum on single table tournaments. That was my game of choice. And then I found some friends. I found my best man at my wedding, Shannon Shore. He's he's taking second at all the poker tournaments now. He just had a second yesterday. He had a second a few days ago, so he's crushing it. Dave Benefield, his name's Drafter Online. I learned a lot from him. Andrew Roble, I learned a lot from him. These are all just people who wanted to get good at poker, right? A couple of tips to beat two-table satellites. Realize it's probably winner take all. Don't use a hand-range funnel. Go to pokercoaching.com, Timothy. We discuss all of that thoroughly there. Go through all the homework challenges. Do I have any regrets? Not really. I was asked this in an interview just the other day. That interview will be coming out, I think, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Maybe it's this Thursday. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't really have many regrets. I probably should have taken a few more shots. I really did not take any shots. I was just happy to sit there and make my $20,000 or $30,000 a month online. Whereas if I took some shots, I could give up some of those guaranteed $20,000 or $30,000 months in exchange for maybe winning $100K and then parlaying that into infinite. Like what Tom Dwan and Andrew Roble did, right? They stopped playing the sit and goes to go play the higher stakes cash games where they didn't really have much experience, but they thought the games were soft. And I was a little bit timid when it came to going to playing games that I had no experience in. They were smart enough to realize that the opponents also had no experience, so if they're better at poker, they'll just be good to go. How do you reconcile your skill improvement over the long term when trying to figure out your win rate? I don't know. Just play and put in lots of volume and see what you're doing. All right. So that's the life of a cash game pro. Let's talk about a tournament pro. Tournament pros' lives are a little bit different. Tournament life is odd because in cash games, you have a huge benefit of being able to put in a lot of volume, right? You can go sit there and play all day, every day, and know you're going to put in your 10 or 12 hours a day and know you're going to see somewhat consistent results, right? When you play tournaments, though, especially in the past, you could not do this. Now, actually, today, you can, because there are a lot of re-entry tournaments, right? Whenever I used to travel to a poker tournament, I would buy in at noon, play the tournament. If I busted before about 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 p.m., somewhere in there, depending on how I was feeling, I'd go play cash games until midnight, just to make sure I utilize the full day, right? But now with the re-entry tournaments, you can re-enter till 7, 8, 9 p.m., whatever it is. So now there's no purpose to playing cash games, assuming you think your win rate in the tournament is higher. And typically, it probably is if you're playing high-stakes tournaments. Let's see. You've logged 357 hours. You have almost no win rate total, but 8 big blinds over 100 in the past 145 hours. Just keep track of the past 145 hours. Sounds like you got significantly better in that time. And you will. Very often when you first start, you'll have like a crappy win rate. Then you'll get better. Joel, welcome. First time watching live. You like my advice. Well, thank you. So, now that we don't need to play we don't need to play cash games when we travel to play re-entry tournaments because we can put in adequate volume, that's very nice. So, I always make a point to wake up again about 9 a.m., take care of whatever business I am dealing with, and then go and play. I try to show up on time. I do think showing up on time is relevant. I'm not going to completely be hectic and rush in exchange for being on time, but I definitely think it is valuable. So definitely make a point to be serene in your mindset. You know, I always ask on Twitter every once in a while, what do people do before they go and play a tournament? And so many people say, I listen to like hard rock music to get pumped up. And I'm like, if anything, I want to be as chill as I possibly can. I want to be super chill. Super, 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 super chill. I don't want to be emotional or excited to go battle. I just want to go in there and be relaxed, make good, fundamentally sound decisions, and move forward in my life. So that's typically what I do. And then I play till I'm done, right? They give you dinner breaks. It makes life easy. You don't have to worry about scheduling your own breaks or anything like that. And that's it. So I will usually fly in the day before the tournament starts. Actually, recently I've been flying in the day of some tournaments if I can. Like say there's a tournament in Florida, I'm in New York City. I can leave here at like 7 a.m. and be there in time for a noon start. So I have been doing that recently. I don't really like doing that, but I'd rather have the night home with my family. So again, you pick priorities, right? Obviously, you should fly in the day before if it makes sense. And usually I don't book return flights. I just book as soon as I'm done, I get a flight and I go home. How many World Series events am I playing? I don't know. 15, 20, something like that. Not a lot. I'm skipping the middle of the series because there's a lot of medium stakes and small stakes stuff in the middle, and it's not worth the time, again. Main focus difference? I'm not sure what you mean the main focus difference. You're just trying to play the best you possibly can. Is online poker dying because of robots? Robots are clearly bad. Hopefully they figure out a way to get rid of them. All the info out there about the game is killing the game. I completely disagree. If anything, it's giving many people who would not otherwise play big tournaments the illusion that they have the skill set to play big tournaments. And it's keeping the big tournaments going. Believe it or not, win rates will go down across the board over time in all games. People forget this. They think that the game's supposed to be soft for forever. Hate to break it to you, but people learn. Why are there robots online? Because people want to make money without doing anything. What is a bot? Essentially, it's a program that will play well for you. In the past, bots were awful. Today, bots are better. I know some sites like ACR, they've been infested with bots for a while. Anyway, I don't want to get into this. That's not what we're talking about today. Are there any YouTube Twitch players I watch and admire? I don't really watch much in terms of vlogs or Twitch streams. I don't have time for that. But I do like Brad Owen's streams. I think those are very good. I like Jamin streams. Those are YouTube videos. Those are good. I don't know. I really don't spend a ton of time watching that stuff, though. I'm busy making content for all of you. You may not realize this, but I have like a mile-long to-do list right now, and that leaves no time for pretty much anything. Were my tournament years before or after? They were during. What was my win rate in tournaments? It was about 140% ROI across the board in live tournaments, but that's because I was lucky. I was lucky to win 2 very big tournaments and take second in another very big tournament, and that will drastically skew your win rate. It's probably like 50%, 60%, 70% across the board. And it's important to understand that, right? I'm not supposed to sit here and say, yeah, I have 150% ROI, I'm the best ever. That's ridiculous. So you have to be realistic, and also you have to compare it to what other people have who you know they're playing equally well as you, and they have like 20% ROI or negative 20% ROI. Understand that they were just not lucky, and I was lucky. All right. Knowledge is power. Stop sharing knowledge. Well, knowledge flows freely in today's environment. Knowledge always wants to be free, by the way. As soon as people started writing, knowledge was out there. As soon as people started talking, knowledge got out there. And the internet has made that even more accessible. And I don't mind helping people because I was helped myself. A lot of people don't quite understand that it's not all about you. It's about helping others who want to better their life. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I am happy to help people who do want to better their life. And understand most people, they don't even listen anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. All right. We have to get back to the life of a pro. We're going to run out of time otherwise. Tournament pros, they often have a problem where they go out and party all night. I guess cash game pros do this too. They'll bust a tournament, they'll go party, they'll wake up the next day, and I definitely think that you need to not do that, assuming your goal is to be a very good poker pro. You need to use your off time to relax, and relax does not mean butcher yourself in any way you possibly can, right? Don't go gamble and lose your bankroll, don't go do drugs, don't go stay awake until 6 a.m. That kind of thing's fine every once in a while. I definitely think you should partake and have a good time every once in a while, but ideally not right when you're in the middle of a tournament series. Louis Philippe asked a good question. Whenever you're playing 12-hour cash games, how do you structure your breaks? I discussed this in my book, Jonathan Little on Live No Limit Cash Games, Volume 1. Here, I'll show it to you. Here it is. Jonathan Little on Live No Limit Cash Games, Volume 1. I discuss when to take breaks. It's somewhere in here. Anyway, essentially, I would take breaks when the bad players take breaks. Because, think about your edge, right? Where does your edge come from? Your edge comes from playing with bad players. So, bad player takes a break. After they leave, don't make it obvious that you're taking a break because they're taking a break. But if they get up and go take a pee break. Get up and take your pee break. If they go on their dinner break, they announce, all right, I'm going on dinner break. All right, go on a dinner break. Most people just sit there and keep playing, and then they're just playing with very tough opponents, right? Or tougher opponents, presumably. But very often my breaks were based around when my opponents took a break. But, I mean, like if you have to go to the restroom, get up and go to the restroom. If you haven't eaten for X number of hours, get up and go eat. At Bellagio, they would actually bring food to you to the table if you ordered it. And, make friends with the person running the room, make friends with whoever runs to go get the food, right? Tip them well, and they're happy to do whatever they want for you, right? So that's just something you have to pay for, realize it's part of the rake, and that's A-okay. But in general, you want to take breaks when the game is tough, and you want to not take breaks when the game is soft, right? So say, well, you get the drift. I don't need to give more examples. Let's see. If you're card dead and your moves aren't working, how low will you allow yourself to blind off before going all in with any two cards? Use the Float the Turn Push Fold app. Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/app. I have an app just for you that'll tell you exactly how to be open shoving. You should never just go all in with any two cards unless the shove app says it's plus EV. The logic of I've had no cards so I should give away my money is ridiculous. You have no cards, so use your image, shove a little bit looser than normal. And to be fair, if the shove chart says shove 80% of hands, maybe you can shove 100 if you have been very tight and you have a tight image. But you just told me your moves aren't working, so that means you should just play perfect GTO poker. If you're not sure who the fish is at your table, well then you're probably messing up already. You go pee when the whole table goes with you, then you're the fish. Yeah. If you come back and no one's at the table, you're like, oh. To be fair, it's actually kind of bad etiquette to leave when the bad player leaves. This is a big problem in the high-stakes games. It's not a problem in regular 1-3 or 2-5 games where it's a full table all the time. But in the higher-stakes games, when you're concerned with the game actually running, you need to make sure you keep the game running. So very often, like 10-20, right? I would sit down sometimes if the 5-10 game did not look great. Sometimes it didn't look great. Whenever I played, there were something like 40 grinders in that game who played all the time, and sometimes you just show up at noon and there'd be 8 of them in the game. All right, well, I'll play 10-20 and because you're going to have no win rate in both of the games, so you might as well play the bigger one with seats open in hopes that game gets soft. So if that game gets soft, then you'll have a nice win rate. So you have to be very willing to start tables. I'm always willing to start tables. Most people play very poorly shorthanded, so you want to get in there and play. Alex Fitzgerald's book says, dress like a weekend warrior and pretend like you're new at poker. Yeah, I don't think that's such a bad idea. You definitely don't want to act like you know what you're doing, that's for sure. Look, I mean, I can't get away with that because people all know who I am, but if you are a complete unknown in the poker world, right, you people don't know who you are, you should act a little bit silly. That's just smart. I amaze you with the amount of content. Well, to be fair, Patrick, it's a little bit unfair because I've been here for 15 years making content. Most of you just found me last week. So if you just found me last week, you will be very surprised at the amount of content I have, but I've been here for a very long time. The app is great, but in singles you have to consider ICM implications. That's absolutely true. That is very clearly stated many times in the instructions to the app. Read the instructions, please. If you don't read instructions, I cannot help you. To be fair, I hate reading instructions, but if you open shove poorly a few times, you'll see your win rate go to $0, so you'll probably learn. All right, that's kind of life of a tournament pro. In terms of like booking travel and not being overworked, I always had a home base. I don't think that's necessary though. There are many great players who just travel all the time. I definitely think that requires a different mindset, a different life adjustment. And make sure you understand what you're signing up for when you do that. You will likely find that, like I try to travel as light as I can. In the past, I would just like take my computer and this gigantic monitor I'm sitting here looking at right now, and it's just not necessary. You don't need it. So now I try to travel as light as I can, and usually that's just one luggage, ideally a carry-on luggage if at all possible. Usually it's not possible if you want to take a dress shirt or two and some nice shoes or whatever, but one suitcase is usually plenty. You want to make your travel experience easy. Whenever I'm going to be at a place for more than 3 or 4 days, I will unpack everything and put it away in the room, in the dressers. I'll hang up my clothes, right? I want to try to make it feel like home and not me digging through a pile of clothes to try to find what I want to wear. So that's important, I think. You need to carry food with you if you're traveling, right? You need to carry whatever you like to eat. I have this smoothie mix called Living Fuel Super Greens. It's expensive and it doesn't taste good, but I think it's good for you. So that's something I do. What else? What else do we do? I don't know. Be smart, right? Figure out what you don't have and get it. So now, what do I do today? I have a weird life now. So now I'm home 3 out of 4 weeks a month, give or take, and that's abnormal for most people because most people have to go out and grind. My life now is kind of similar to like back when I did live in Vegas and I played cash games all day every day, except for instead of playing cash games from noon till midnight, I work on projects for all of you from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. So I still have that very clear blocked off amount of time, and that allows me to get my work done, right? And I think that's very important. We do have someone watching the kids from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Amy will be gone to work soon, so I'll essentially just have the day to do whatever I need to do. And that allows me to get a lot done. People always ask, essentially, like, how do you get so much work done? Well, I try to be very focused. I try to figure out what I need to do. I have a to-do list that's prioritized, and I make a point to take care of all the work. So then when I do travel, I make a point to play a lot of poker. However, I play less poker now than I did when I traveled initially. You may say, why is this? Well, now I have other priorities, right? Sometimes we'll try to go have breakfast with all of you. If you're at the tournament stop, we'll have breakfast one day. That cuts into poker playing time because you can't stay up all night playing poker if you have to wake up and go to a breakfast. I try to network a little bit more now because I want to be able to get in front of more and more people who want to improve their poker in their lives, right? And that often leads to maybe going out to dinner with people, talking with people, getting in front of people, and showing them what I have to offer, essentially. So I don't play quite as much poker as I did even when I did travel back then, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, I don't really need to play poker now. Like I said, we have enough money, so that's not a motivator. The motivator is helping people, and I understand that when I personally play poker, who am I helping? I am helping only myself, right? I mean, sure, maybe I write notes and get content, but I play enough to get the content that I need. So in this scenario, I think it's better to help a lot of people than to just help one person. So I'm in a unique spot, though. I understand that is not where the situation most people are in. So that's why I went over how to be a cash game pro first, which I think is by far the best way to grind out money consistently, and then how to be a tournament pro, right? How much do you use solvers these days? I use them almost none, but I outsource a lot of the work. I study what other people say, they consolidate the information for me, and they feed me the information. Because it takes a lot of time. Why are poker pros playing less and doing more content? They're not. Only some are. I would actually venture to say that a lot of the people who are making a lot of content are not actually all that good. I know that sounds almost hypocritical to say that of myself. But I do think I'm very good. Hopefully I've proven that with my results over the years. And the fact that I play almost none still and I still have good results. Somehow we've had, since I had James, we've had 3 winning years in a row. Putting in almost no volume. We've had, a few good cashes each year, and that's lucky. But anyway, most people who make a lot of money from poker don't need to do anything else. I knew, though, that I did not want to be traveling and all the time or playing poker all the time. So, assuming I wanted to make money, assuming I wanted to still help people, I needed to do something else. What could I do? What are my skills? Well, my skills are helping people learn to play poker. I've been doing that for 15 years, like I said. And it made the most sense to me. It turns out that you all actually enjoy it. The problem with most poker players is they're not personable at all. They are trying to sound smart and stroke their egos. And that's important to understand, right? I'm trying to help people. And when you try to help people, they will enjoy your work, they will learn from your work, and they will work. They're happy to get back to you. Okay, let's see. You always follow the push-fold charts. Probably a mistake. Should you be making adjustments when you're playing 15 to 20 big blinds deep? You should not be using the push-fold chart 15 to 20 big blinds deep. A min-raise, push or fold strategy, or a limp push or fold strategy are going to be way better. Reese, this wall of text, I'm having a hard time reading it. I don't know why. You're never making final tables. You're probably playing too tightly. Or you're playing too maniacally. One of the two. Sounds like he's talking about Justin. I don't know who Justin is. Oh, everyone. Let's see. But in general, I would say that, I don't know, it's hard to say because there's so many really good poker players out there who have almost no following, who have not tried to do anything like that, but who tried to get into the content space and they don't have very good results and then they just quit. Look at people who win these super high roller tournaments, right? A lot of them have like 3,000 Twitter followers. They almost never post. And if they were to spend an hour with you, they would make you go from being a not good poker player to probably a pretty good poker player. And sometimes they try that, and it does not go well. And that is... It's interesting. It's interesting. But I've always liked helping people. I don't know why I've always liked helping people. Well, I do know why. Because if it was not because of the generosity of others, I would certainly not be where I am today. And I try to help other people because I'm happy to give back. Speaking of giving back, we're doing a webinar tonight at pokercoaching.com/5tips. Number 5 tips. So pokercoaching.com/5tips. We're going to be giving 5 tips to help you succeed at the World Series of Poker or any major tournament series. So check that out. That is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So check that out. It's completely free. Hope you enjoy it. Let's see. Hope to make it to Vegas for a poker coaching breakfast. We are doing 2 of those this year. So make sure you sign up. We will be sending out emails to the poker coaching members about that sometime in the near future. Last year, one of our players there, he ended up winning a World Series of Poker circuit ring for $250K or something like that. Good job, good work. Last year we had about 40 people at the breakfast, so it's kind of big. Will there be a replay of the webinar tonight? Listen, every time I do a free webinar, the replay will be available somewhere. Message after listening to a couple of my audiobooks, you won 2 tournaments this week. It's always nice to win 2 tournaments. Twice in my career, I've had 2 good back-to-back runs. I had a win and a chop, and then I had 2 second places in back-to-back tournaments. And it's just so silly when that happens. You're like, yeah, I just win all the hands. Happy to see me live. Hello, welcome. It's insane how stupid other coaches are. Yeah, some coaches are stupid. To be fair, they're not stupid. They are just... Well, some are stupid, but a lot of them just don't quite understand their audience and what their actual role is. Assuming they want to actually help people. And the problem is a lot of people don't actually want to help people. That's really what it amounts to. You always have to ask, what am I trying to accomplish? And a lot of people just don't either don't know, they haven't thought about what they're trying to accomplish, or they just have other priorities that are not about helping you. I mean, you're going to find the vast majority of people out there making content are not making it to try to help you. They're making it to try to make money, or to try to get popular, or to try to stroke their egos. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to be able to tell the difference. In general, whenever you see people out there tearing people down, that's a very clear indicator that they are generally all about themselves, especially if they do it all the time. If they do it very sporadically and very tactfully, then usually that's an indicator that someone's probably well out of line. But if there are people who are out there hating all the time, they're obviously doing that purely to try to make themselves feel good. If there are people out there who are just giving straight up bad advice, they're clearly doing this to stroke their ego. If there are people who are out there saying things that you and almost nobody else can understand, they're certainly not trying to help a large audience, right? So everyone does everything they do for various reasons, and none of them are right or wrong, right? I know that I'm out here trying to help you. You all may not believe that or think that, but that is the goal for me, and that's why I try to teach at a level that a lot of people can understand. That's why I try to put out my material in all sorts of formats, right? Audiobook, ebook, webinars, whatever, because I want to help all of you. What do you think of Johnny Vibe's poker content? I've never watched it. What percentage of tournaments should you be cashing in? Cashing is kind of irrelevant, but roughly whatever the average is, so 15% of the field gets paid, you want to cash about 15% of the time, maybe more. Are you going to sell action publicly for the World Series? Nope. What do you think about live streamers? Do whatever they want, right? Again, what is their purpose? I do think it's kind of silly that live streamers get as much credit as they do in the poker world. I mean, for example, I don't watch anyone stream. Unless it's exactly Rich Shea playing Magic the Gathering. I love Rich Shea's Magic the Gathering stream, but I don't even watch that on Twitch. I watch that on YouTube. And Rich Shea is smart enough to realize YouTube's a way better way to consume to consume content. It's a way better format to consume content. Pretty much all the poker material I watch is either on private training sites or on YouTube. YouTube allows you to fast forward easily, lets you play at 2 times speed, and lets you consume it way faster, which I'm just trying to upload stuff to my brain as fast as I can and still comprehend it. So I watch essentially nothing on Twitch anymore. But I do watch, not a lot, but some on YouTube. Funny enough, the things I watch on YouTube often have no commentary, no sound, just the cards. There are replays of this, like the high roller hand histories with no sound, no text, etc. And that's what I'm trying to study from. I'm not trying to study from... I am trying to study from other people, but those are by far the most beneficial things for me. Because I can figure out why people are doing what they're doing, or at least I understand the logic. And that's very beneficial for me, personally, to improve. That said, I think YouTube's where it's at. Let's see. You were chip leader, called with tens. We're not going to read this hand history. That's not a very good hand history. Go to JonathanLittlePoker.com/notes. Go to JonathanLittlePoker.com/notes. Check it out. That'll show you how to write hand histories. You write hand histories like that, I will read it every time. Should always use a linear 3-betting range against soft opponents who never 4-bet bluff. Not necessarily. Depends on what their opening range is, right? Just signed up for the $1,500 bounty. How important is it to go after the $500 bounties? Not very, especially once you start to chip up a little bit. If the level of poker players' skill improves, will the edge of successful players or skillful players diminish? Yes. As players get better, edges get closer and closer to 0. That's just how it is in all games, right? Like imagine, well, whatever. Yes, as people get better, edges go away. That's what happens in all games. All right. Would you try to perfect one thing like tournaments or cash, or just do everything? I would definitely suggest sticking to one initially. You only have so much time, and I understand the vast majority of you out there have a job, or they have life, or whatever, right? So you don't have a ton of time to devote to poker. So spend your time getting good at one specific format. Find a format you like. Find a format that works easy for you. And then do that, right? So, like, by far the easiest format is online poker, because you can just go and play it at any time, right? You can play it for 30 minutes at home. Whereas live poker is a little bit more difficult. But in general, if you have only short windows of time, like 2 or 3 or 5 hours, go play cash. If you have long days of time, tournaments may be better. But even then, you can play long days of cash. What would you consider the various difficulty levels for live tournaments? Depends on how many satellite qualifiers are in there. Are there online buy-ins that map directly to these tournament buy-ins? I mean, $1,000 tournaments live are probably like $50 tournaments online in general. $200 live, $100 live are super, super, super soft. Do I have any recommendations for online sites? Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/USA. How many hours per week do you need available to get value from pokercoaching.com? What do you mean by value, right? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Depends on what you're going to do with the knowledge, right? If you give me basketball lessons for 3 years straight, what is that worth to me? Well, it's worth $0. But if you give it to someone like LeBron James as a kid, well, it'd be worth hundreds of millions, maybe billions. I don't know how much the guy's going to have by the time he's done. And it's important to realize that when you spend, let's say, $40 on a poker training site or $20 on a book or whatever it is, will you make more than $20 off of that? And you have to account for the time that you spend on it too, right? Because you could be doing other things. The neat thing about poker is that any knowledge you get is so cheap, unless you're paying like $1,000 for it, in which case, then you actually do have to put in some work to get it back. By far, the best investment I ever made was spending $5,000 on private coaching from a guy who was playing lower stakes sit and goes than me, who I thought was very, very good. Turns out he instantly plugged a few holes in my game. I made that $5,000 back in the first month, and then I could continue making that amount over the next 2 or 3 years as I played sit and goes. So I made 30 times the investment roughly. So I put in $5,000, we got back $150K, and that was just like really, really clear. Because after that, I stopped playing that game. I never played sit and goes again, or basically didn't play them again. And we had that bonus 2 or 3 or 4% ROI for that entire time, and put in 5, get back 150. Seems like an easy thing. What is the best city for Canadian poker? I don't know. I have no idea. Literally no idea. Is poker a game where years of practice becomes straightforward and the game doesn't evolve? I mean, the game's always getting tougher and you always need to be working harder. There are a million bazillion spots you can learn. It's actually only 1,700 flops or so. But there's a lot of turns and a lot of rivers. And you need to learn how to play all of them with all of your range. Thoughts on sit and goes now? Essentially unbeatable at the high stakes, which means not worth playing it unless you're starting to grow a bankroll initially. I think they're very good practice for final tables. All of the games that have funny payouts, especially if you learn to play lots of them, like say you learn to play satellites where 1 in 10 gets a seat and there are like 5 seats available, there's a huge bubble, right? So learning how to play that is relevant. What about sit and goes that have the 5-3-2 payout? Learning how to play those is very relevant, right? And it's going to be useful whenever you do go to play actual final tables. So understanding payout implications is very important. A lot of people, though, like let's say they play only satellites, they think they may know how to adjust to a regular tournament, but they're usually just so far off and so nitty to the point that they just become awful tournament players. Not always, but quite often. And it's important to understand how payouts change. I mean, really, in my mind, the sign of like an actual good sit and go player is someone who can play all of the various types of sit and goes. Back on Party Poker, they used to have these things called steps where there'd be like 6 different levels, and all of them had slightly different payouts, or some of them had very different payouts. Like the top one would usually be very top heavy. It'd be like a $2,000 buy-in where first place got $13,000 or something like that, which was a tournament seat and then expenses. So 6.5 buy-ins. Then second got a little bit, like 2 buy-ins. Third's got like a buy-in and a half, and the rest got some chump change. And it's important to learn how to play that, right? But then also the ones earlier, maybe like a $600 satellite where something like 3 or 4 people went to the next one. So it's clearly very different, right? And understanding the optimal adjustments to all of that is, I think it's useful. It's useful. That said, always understand the game you're playing. Are the quizzes enough to get better at tournaments? Absolutely. How many hours per week on average are your students spending studying playing? I have all sorts of students in all different walks of life. Some devote their life to it. Some devote almost no time to it. All right, let's see. You're in a tournament. Middle position goes all in for 22K. Button with 140K just calls. You're in the big blind. With pocket jacks? What do you think about the calling range? If the opponent's good, you should only have a calling range. So you have to be very careful jamming there. If the opponent's bad and he's only calling with garbage, then you should definitely shove. But if the opponent's good, he should flat with his entire range, and then he's going to be very balanced. With jacks, you're probably supposed to probably shove, but calling could certainly be fine. It'll still be quite a while before all the people who play poker have learned and are knowledgeable about the game. Yes, it's going to be forever. The game's never going to be unbeatable, especially in the live arena. People don't live good enough to get that good. I say they don't live good enough. They don't live good enough and devote enough of their life to it to get very, very, very good. All right, what else do we have to say? You need to make sure you have balance in your life, right? When talking about life of a pro, if you do anything all day, every day, you're not going to be happy, you're not going to have fun, even if you're winning all the money. I mean, I was definitely not happy as a young kid playing sit and goes all day, every day. I think I definitely left a lot of happiness equity on the table in exchange for a little bit of money. So make sure you're doing things in your life besides only playing poker. Some very easy things to do are things in your life that build you up. This is going to be studying something that's not poker. This is going to be working out your body and getting strong. This is going to be making friends, right? Having good social interactions. I had awful social interactions besides my good online friends, but those don't count. I had awful social interactions for a long time, and that's because I didn't talk to anyone for 3 years, right? And that kind of thing is not good for anyone, and I would not suggest that to anyone. That said, if you do look at basically every good super high stakes player today, they all had periods in their life where they only played poker. They all did. Let's look across the board. They essentially all had that. And that kind of implies that if you want to get good at poker and really anything, if you want to get to a very, very high level, you need to have some period in your life for some number of years where you go really, really deep. And that's what you devote your life to. I did it. All my friends did it. And we're all still here. And those who did not do it, well, a lot of them are not. And it's tough because I'm definitely a fan of making sure you enjoy life. And I think you can have both. I'm not a good case study for it, but I definitely think it is possible. I have tried helping a few of my students. One of my students just won $1.3 million in a tournament on Party Poker, and he is now having to figure out how to balance life by having a big bankroll and, being happy. He essentially has enough money to retire where he's from. He lives in Europe. And he wants to play poker, right? So he's going to finish his degree. He's going to make sure he invests a large chunk of it. And he's on lockdown mode for that for the rest of his life. He's set. And then with the rest, well, we're going to be a poker pro. He has a schedule. He built it himself, right? And it involves something like 6 to 8 hours of poker play, 6 days a week. And I think that's good. And I think a lot of people don't do anything like that. And it's smart. Actually, we're going to be discussing tonight on my webinar about how I'm preparing him for the World Series of Poker. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we're having a free webinar for all of you. You can sign up at pokercoaching.com/5tips. Type it right here, the number 5 tips. I can type. 5 tips. And you can go there, sign up, and we'll discuss it. How do you handle downswings? I don't care about them. Also, I realized I started with $50, and I have a lot more than $50. So that's lucky. Ben Judge, welcome. Hope you're having a great day. We're just finishing our coffee. We're about to pack it up. But you do need to have a deep dive at some point in your life. You need to study a lot. Study a lot, get good. I think you need to do that before you start playing a ton. And that's important. But the idea of how do you handle downswings, that implies that they have to be handled. Right? Like, why is a downswing bad? You know you're going to have a downswing. That's obvious, right? If you're playing poker, you will have downswing. So why do you let that be a burden on you? You know what's going to happen, right? It's like people who get sad when it rains or when there's a blizzard or when, I don't know, someone's rude to them. You can't control what other people do. You can try to help things. You can buy a raincoat and you can not be rude to people. But even then, some people are just going to be rude to you because they're miserable at life and they're failing. Others, when you go outside, for example, sometimes you're going to get rained on, and that's okay. Don't let it bother you. It seems hard to get out of a buy-in or out of a downswing. Don't assume that you have to get out of it. Why do you? I mean, what does in or out of a downswing mean? The chips in poker come and go, like the tide, right? It comes in, they go. It goes, comes in, it goes out. It comes in, it goes out. It's normal. So understand that. You must understand that downswings are part of the game, and they are inevitable. So if something's inevitable, and you know you're going to encounter it, you signed up for this. Why should it bother you when it happens? It shouldn't. It bothers you because other people thinks it should bother you, because they learn from games that they're supposed to win, and if they're not winning, they're doing something wrong. And also, especially in the American culture, if you're not winning, you are failing. But understand that losing in poker does not indicate failure. It indicates nothing, right? It indicates normal variance. So why do you want to let normal variance bother you and ruin your life and all of that? Let's see. You wish you could have that on replay any time of the day. Well, I'm sure there's a way to clip it and make that happen. I learned a lot from Elliot Rowe, by the way. Elliot Rowe has a great app called Primed Mind. I don't know if there's anything still here. I know we were giving a bonus for this, but go to pokercoaching.com/primedmind, I think. Or send us an email at support@pokercoaching.com. Check out Primed Mind. That's very beneficial. He made me private Primed Mind, essentially, way before Primed Mind existed, like 6 or 8 years ago, and it was very beneficial to helping me better my mindset. What happens when you lose all your money in a downswing? Why in the world would you lose all your money in a downswing? Are you not playing properly bankrolled? Well, if you're just gambling, then, I mean, go get a job, I guess. You should never lose your entire bankroll. If you do, you messed up horribly. Read pokercoaching.com/bankroll. Do results matter in tournaments each year? I mean, no, not really. Unless you're playing online. Online, they probably do. I'm a good dude. I do my best. And you're welcome for all the free content. We're just happy to help. But yeah, anyone who loses all of their money, they essentially said, I am gambling hard with a high risk of ruin. And again, you know you're playing with a high risk of ruin. Actually, you may not know. That's the problem. A lot of people are ignorant to these facts. They just think they're not supposed to go broke. But if you play with 10 buy-ins, you're going broke. Sorry, I hate to break it to you. What is proper bankroll management? Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. We have the bankroll Bible there. It's only 20 pages long. It's not going to take you too long to read it. And that will give you very solid bankroll advice. For the vast majority of you, though, I would definitely say you need a way bigger bankroll than you think you do, because the swings in poker are wild. Absolutely wild. And in tournaments, they're especially wild because your graph goes down, 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 and then up when you win something. Then it goes down, 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 down. And the problem is if you're playing tournaments that have a lot of players, like I know a lot of you do, you're playing these 1,000-person tournaments, well, you're going to go down for a long time. And that can't bother you. That's the other fun thing is that a lot of people think they're in a downswing, whereas in reality, they're just not at their peak. And if you're unhappy when you're not at a peak from poker tournaments, you're just going to be unhappy all the time because you're almost never at your peak. That's what you signed up for. All right, I have to go again. We have 5 tips tonight. A webinar completely free. You can go to pokercoaching.com/5tips. Sign up. I'll see you all tonight there at 9 p.m. Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. We're going to go number 3 today. And that's it. Good luck. Have fun. Be nice to someone. It's important to be nice, make good connections. Because when you make nice, good connections and everything is happy in your life, doors will open, things will seem easier, and life will be good. So, be nice, have fun, good luck, and I'll see you all tonight at 9 p.m.